Hey guys, what's up? It is your girl Lock Looney Tune, and I'm here with another tune topic. Today I wanted to touch bases on something I posted on my Facebook page yesterday. I actually had a discussion with my husband last night about this, and he brought something to my attention. He actually works at a gym. I don't like going in. That's for other reasons, but anyway, he works at the gym, and last night he said that a man came in to his gym. Now I'm guessing that it was a new member or something like that, and my husband hadn't seen him before or anything. So he came into the gym last night, and he told me that the man was dressed in women's clothes, and he told me that the man was wearing a wig. I mean, I asked, I was a little, intrigued by what he was telling me, so I asked him questions. So I said, did the man have a weave or a wig or whatever? He said he said it was a white man. He said he had women's clothes on. I'm guessing he was dressed in a dress or something like that, and he had a wig on. That's what he told me. So he said the man proceeded to ask him, he said, excuse me, could you tell me which locker room I should be using? So I asked my husband, I said, well, what did you say to him? And so my husband said he asked him what gender he was born. I guess he was like, what gender are you? Not, basically. And I guess he told me that the man said male, and I guess he proceeded to tell him to go to the men's locker room. Now, I didn't see this person, so I don't know what they look like or anything like that, but I told him that I probably would have, I don't know, maybe men and women handle things differently, and I probably would have handled it a different way, just me in particular. And I guess it's because I have a lot of gay friends, and I have a lot of transgendered or transsexual people that I know, and are cool with. I have no problem with them. So what I told him was that I would have handled it a little differently. I said, when he asked me this, I would have asked him, well, what do you identify as? Like, do he identify himself as a man, or does he identify himself as a woman? And then I probably would have, proceeded to tell him to go to the corresponding locker room, because if he would have told me, well, I identify as a female, I identify as a woman, then I would have said, okay, go to the women's locker room. I mean, that's just me. I would think that that a man would be or most men in the locker room would be caught off guard if someone who looked like a man came into the men's dressing room and they was dressed in woman's attire. I think that might would have caught the men off guard. But then someone on my Facebook page kind of brought it to my attention that sort of the same thing goes with women as well, as far as would a woman might feel uncomfortable if a man dressed in women's clothes came into the women's locker room and then I guess proceeded to get undressed, and you saw a penis or whatever the case may be. A woman might get a little freaked out, and you never know why. This person really brought it to my attention that you might think, the women might think, oh, well, he just trying to get in here, to get his free looks, at women's body parts and stuff like that. So, I posted to my Facebook page because I wanted to know you guys' opinion. I wanted to know, what do you think? What would you have said to this person in this situation? And the person that brought this to my attention on the Facebook page, she said the fact that he asked which locker room should he use kind of like makes you think, okay, well, he might even be confused about that. I even asked my husband, I said, well, why would he ask which locker room? Was he confused, or did he just think that if he was to assume and just go into the locker room, you guys weren't going to stop him from going into whichever dressing room that he chose. Also, I thought, you know, there are some people who are transgendered that are post-op, you know, transsexuals post-op or transsexuals pre-op, you know. I mean, for those of you guys who understand what I'm saying, you know, there are some men who haven't had the surgery yet but still identify themselves as a woman. So, you know, in that case, what do you tell this person? And if they, that's the reason why I said I would ask this person as to not to assume anything and not to disrespect them, to ask them what they identify as. I feel as though that it's only respectful for me to ask them how they feel about themselves, rather than me to just assume that he's a man or assume that he's a woman, you know, or assume that he identifies. I know what I see with my eyes, of course. I know that when I look at a person, I can, well, for the most part, I can tell whether they are a man or a woman. But if you know, they don't feel that they want to be identified that way, who am I, you know, to tell them, you know, you look like a man, so you're a man, you know, of course. But I mean, it's all about how they identify themselves. They may not want to be identified as a woman if they're a woman. They might not want to be identified as a man if they're a man going through a transsexual period or anything. You never know. It could be drag queens. It could be cross-dressers. You never know. You never know. But it's always good, you know, to ask. I'm sure my husband asked, you know, what's your gender? I mean, I thought when me and my husband had this discussion, this was a long discussion me and him had last night, because I was just like, well, asking what your gender is, I guess that's really not enough, you know, to go on. You mean, you can ask plenty people. I know plenty men that do not consider themselves men anymore. They consider themselves women. And far be it from me to tell them what they are. So if you guys want to chime in on this subject, feel free to do so and leave some comments in the comment box below, and I will hit you up, guys, in the next video. So until then, see ya. Peace.